The title of this paper is The Tenacious Brain, How the Anterior Mid-Cingulate Cortex Contributes to Achieving Goals. And there's one figure in this paper, and I just want to summarize a couple of things from, because it's just like a wow figure. There aren't many figures like this. I mean, this is a review article, so this figure includes panels pooling from a bunch of different studies, but I'm going to just highlight a few of these by paraphrasing what's in the figure legend, okay? So bear with me here. I think you'll find this very interesting. Okay, so you can't see the pictures because many people are listening to this on audio, but you can certainly look up the paper. We provide a link to it in the show note captions. But these points are worth paying attention to. Spontaneous anterior mid-cingulate cortex activity predicts grit, this psychological phenomenon that we refer to as grit. Now, this was teased out in a study of grit. Grit is this ability to lean into challenge, and the mere spontaneous activity, right? Not evoked activity. There's spontaneous activity, which is the activity that occurs sort of naturally as a consequence of engaging in a particular thought pattern or behavior. And then there's evoked activity when you stimulate a brain area. This is spontaneous activity. Spontaneous anterior mid-cingulate activity is associated with the psychological phenomenon, the verb that we call grit. And grit can be thought of as an adjective, right? Somebody's really gritty, but it should best be thought of as a verb. It's the leaning into challenge. Greater anterior mid-cingulate cortex activity is associated with higher levels of persistence. This again was teased out in a study of persistence. So these aren't just philosophical statements or theoretical statements. These are based on brain imaging studies where people are being challenged with a particular set of challenges while they're in a so-called fMRI, functional magnetic resonance imaging machine. Activation of the anterior mid-cingulate cortex is associated with grit and with persistence. And anterior mid-cingulate signal is associated with willingness to exert more effort. If people have to exert more effort and they're willing to do that, boom, anterior mid-cingulate cortex activity goes up. Also, anterior mid-cingulate activity increases, get this, during effort magnitude estimation. Even when people are just trying to gauge how much effort something's going to take, that starts to initiate activity of the anterior mid-cingulate cortex. Oh boy, this is going to be a big one. I got to do this. And I'll explain how I engage my anterior mid-cingulate cortex. You'll have to decide if that's something that you hate enough so that you can use it too. Almost done here, folks. Anterior mid-cingulate signal tracks the subjective value of effort exerted. As people start to track how much effort they're exerting, anterior mid-cingulate cortex activity goes up. And last but not least, anterior mid-cingulate cortex stimulation, so this is no longer spontaneous activity, but stimulation, increases the will to persevere.